Thank you, guys. B2B sales is the theme today. And I brought to you a quote of Fabian Pincas. Who knows this guy? No one? Who knows Udo? Okay, this is the new threat for everybody because Odoo is doing everything at once, product-wise. So that guy started like 10 years ago. He built a software. He had a couple of clients. Uh, Grew 50% every year, 50% every year. Now they at 550 million euro. Or we will get your company there, and you will thank me. He's a client of mine. Um, uh, and they have a valuation of $5 billion. $5 billion. He is now after SAP. And he already gets SAP clients. This is a force. This is what everyone should look like if you're in tech. This is the commoditization of tech. They will build everything cheap. So they start at 19 euros and they are vertical in all branches. So they are targeting. Why did I brought this? Because this is a podcast. You can listen it at 20 VC. It's a guy who does podcasts, and he has this founder in a podcast, which is the most interesting podcast that I heard in the last years. What makes this guy special is he's an IT guy. He's a CTO guy. So he talks like if then else. For him, everything is if then else. So everything is logic. But what makes him really special is he understands marketing, and he understands that marketing is not the product. Marketing is the customer. And that's the difference. And I talked to some guys. What do you think is the most important thing in tech companies? The product or the customer in most tech companies? So this is a dialogue a bit. Do you think tech or customers? It's tech. People care more about tech. Techies care more about tech than they care about the customer. Now, I sold stainless steel for 10 years. So when I went to clients, I couldn't talk about steel because pipes are round and bars are flat. I couldn't say, my bars are rounder or flatter or no. I had to build a relationship with the guy. I couldn't talk about the product for 10 years, but I still sold a lot. I built relationships. Now, this guy understands product and relationships. That's why this company will have a valuation in a couple of years of 100 billion, and he will be the next SAP. So this is important to understand. Okay. Yes, since this is a dialogue, I thought it would be in a smaller round. So this is a bit of a dialogue. Why do we buy? There are two reasons why we buy. What do you think is the first reason we buy stuff? That's the second reason. The first reason is we need it. You need like clothes, you need like food. So this is the second reason we think we need it. So because if you say, I need trousers, you don't need trousers. You think you need trousers, but you could buy anything else, right? But the brain doesn't know the difference. The brain doesn't know the difference between you think you want it and you need it. And that's why we buy so much stupid stuff we don't need, because we want to have it. And that's marketing. So yeah. Oh, Porsche. Porsche sells the same. Nobody buys a Porsche to get from A to B, but still we think it's a car, but it's no car. So what does Amazon sell if we're talking about the marketplace? Well, why do we buy at Amazon Marketplace? Convenience. Exactly, it's convenience. They don't sell a lot of stuff. It's convenience. TUI. This is a company that sells travel. So what do they sell? You think they sell travel, but it's not. They sell memories or they sell peace of mind. Now you have Aldi. You don't know the concept maybe here in Vietnam, but what do you think? What feeling does Aldi sell when you go there? Yeah, it's cheap. It's thrift. Does it work? Okay, good. Then, yeah, you fixed it, of course. Patagonia. So you buy a Patagonia for $800 and you feel like you saved the planet, right? They sell sustainability. Oh, it doesn't help for me. Okay, sustainability. Yes, Tesla. So before Elon Musk went crazy, what did you buy? Who bought Tesla? What was the feeling? innovation, future, exactly, future. You bought the future. And in fact, I read that 99% of Tesla drivers, they are fans of Star Wars because they like the future. So if we talk about Shopify, they sell independence. So everything Shopify says is, hey, if you buy Shopify now, you will be independent tomorrow. They talk to business owners who maybe think about it. They don't know, but they sell independence. They don't sell, I have a storefront. SAP, what does SAP sell? The SAP sell. But who buys SAP? Who's the decision maker? Yeah, exactly? The decision maker is the CEO, right? And he wants one thing, he wants control of the business. So SAP is not selling software, and that's what we're going to do with your company. It's not about software, it's about control. Salesforce, what does Salesforce sell? It's the same. It's control. Because it's not the little guy who decides that you're going to buy Salesforce. It's the big guy who says, I want to know everything what's happening in my sales department. So they sell control. So HubSpot, they sell the same in modern. They sell the same in modern. Now, I could ask you, maybe it's in you, what does Pipedrive sell? They sell the same in cheap, but they sell control. But the first thing is cheap, and everyone who makes a bit of money, these are the people that switch from a Volkswagen to a BMW because they think they need a BMW. Everyone who starts with Pipedrive, starting to make a bit of money, they start to buying more expensive software because they think, I need HubSpot, Pipedrive, who can't work with Pipe? Oh, when you were little, Pipedrive was okay. Now you make more money. Now you want to spend more money, which is in fact stupid, but that's how people work. But have to know how to play the game. So the big question here is, what do you sell? What do you sell at NFQ? Deep tech, but that's no feeling. Yeah? I'm not going to buy a feeling. So you really have to think about, what feeling do I sell? Nobody cares if someone asks you, what do you do? Well, I do tech and I do the, and that guy thinks after 2 seconds, oh, I wish I would never ask. Because you don't sell feelings. So Tesla future. I had a couple of more examples here. Who's from Vietnam? Yes. What does Viet Fast sell? Who knows Viet Fast? Okay, good. What does Viet Fast? Oh, VinFast. Sorry. Oh, I even wrote it. I even wrote it wrong. What does VinFast sell? See. So I think they sell national proud. I think they sell national proud. Now, if you think about what brands are the most sold brands in Germany, where do these brands come from? Car brands. What are the brands that are sold in France? Exactly. So Shopify independent, SAP control, and Pipedrive sells control in cheap. So if you don't have a lot of money, you're going to buy this. This is important to know. Because what do we buy? We buy what we like. And you could say, yeah, this is logical, but most of us, we don't sell what the customer likes. We sell what we like. And in Germany, we have a saying that the köder, the thing you put on the bait, the bait is for the fish, not the fisherman. But I talk to a lot of companies, and we want to reshape the website. And then the CEO says, I don't like it. And then I say, I don't care, because your customers like it, but I don't like it. Do you have to buy your own product? No. Then shut up. The customer has to like it, not you. So we buy what makes us feel good. We buy what matches our feelings. We buy what matches our values. This is one of the most important things. And we buy what matches ourselves. And we buy ourselves. We will get into that deeper now. So this is important. We never buy against our feelings. Have you ever bought something where you didn't feel right? No. That's why we have one job Make the customer feel good. And that's not talking about your product and about your specs and about doing whatever. It's making the customer feel good. Feels like a reward. Everything else is an expense. Yeah, then it costs money. If you buy a watch of 10,000 euro, you will say, "Wow, this is great." If your roof is broke and you pay 10,000 euro or dollars, you're not like, "Wow, I bought a new roof." No, it's an expense because the roof is not you. And this is revert psychology. So sales and marketing is reverse. It's not about what you like or you are your best customer, then it is. But it's not about what you like. It's about what the customer like. This is number one fail in marketing and sales. You tell your story. I don't care. I care about my story. So the big question is, what do you sell? And if you can't answer that in feelings, then I know why you don't sell a lot. Because you don't sell a feeling. You don't give me anything to feel good about when I buy. Or it's an expense, and then it's just money. So who chooses who? The question here, do you think that the big brands of this globe, that you choose to buy them, or do they choose that you buy them? What do you think? They choose. Everyone says that. No one acts like this. No one, people say, I'm going to do some new marketing stuff. I'm going to do some mass mailing and I'm going to connect mass on LinkedIn. And this is not this. This is influence the customer that he comes to you and says, I want Remira, I want Skill Commerce, I want Bambus. This is influencing the customer. Smart brands, they choose us. I'm a persona of 5 million people. You are a persona of 40 million people. And my wife is a persona of 50 million people, whatever. They know exactly what words they have to use and where they have to be, that we all think, wow, I need this. The brain doesn't know the difference. That's the trick. So what are the key buying factors when we buy? It's security and belonging. It's security and belonging. That's what we have to deliver to get a good feeling in return. It's in German Sicherheit and Zugehörigkeit. So what is sales? Sales and marketing, which is one thing, sales and marketing is the same, is to provide security to feel good. Because I give you money, you give me a product, and that's a trade. And I don't know if you were in the trading business once in your life, maybe when you were a kid, but one always got out as a loser in trading. I trade a product with you. So that's why they invented money, because it was easier. But no one wants to go out as a loser. It's the biggest risk. I give you money, I don't get what I want. So trading money for product. So it's all about securities to feel good, because securities makes me feel good. And then it's the buying decision, because we never buy against our feelings. Anyone knows this? Okay. So does anyone know what the technique was to sell the pen? What was it? They created demand. Yeah, they created demand. So he told the guy, in my story, he told the guy, hey, do you have a pen? No, I have a lead for you. You can make $5,000 right away. Write a phone number down. You can call the guy. He said, I don't have a pen. So that's creating demand. I don't like that so much. That's what we did like 15 years in e-commerce. We said, hey, you don't have an online shop, right? Yeah, everyone has an online shop. I have the online shop. That's why we did so good business the last 15 years. But rule number one in sales, and creating demand is hard, and it's, in my opinion, not the right way. Does anybody know what rule number one in sales is? Rule number one in sales is get your customer to like you. To like you. Because we buy what we like, right? We saw that, right? I never bought anything that I didn't like. Or it was an expense. Do you want to be an expense or a reward? Do you want to sell to your customers and say, oh, I bought at NFQ. Wow, this is really great. Or NFQ, I don't know its cost. You don't want to be the expense. That's why they have to feel good. That's why in sales, rule number one is not, I'm going to send a lot of emails to unknown people and I hope they're going to buy some stuff from me, which is really a tech thing. No one in stainless steel or in bars or in commodity business does this. They build up a relationship first. They don't talk about the product and then they get deals. So rule number one is get your customer to like you. We were walking to the War Museum this morning. And this guy, he walked with us and he said, "Hi, good morning. How are you?" We said, "Oh, it's good." And he was walking there and he said, "How, where are you going?" And we said, "Well, we go to the War Museum." I said, it's 2 minutes walk and it's the third left. And then he walked with us, said, "Hey, are you okay? Are you hot?" "Yeah, it's hot." He says, "You want a coconut?" I said, "Yeah, of course." I said, "Of course." He built a relationship because he was giving me something first. He got me to like him. He does get your customer to like you. He could say, "Hey, do you want a coconut?" I would have said, "No, I don't want a coconut. I don't know you." So this guy, these are all the salespeople waiting for leads. He's sleeping. This is like 99% in sales in tech, waiting for inbound leads. And they have the same product. He doesn't even matter to go to people. But I think I like this better more as a sales guy because maybe he has a great spot and a lot of people come out of the office. That would be smart. It's stupid to go to people with this. And this is only of 2 days. "Hey, Henning, I don't know you. I have a product." "Hey, Henning, I don't know you. I have a product." "Hey, Henning, maybe I know you a bit more, but I don't know you. I have a product." And I saw your engagement on whatever. I don't know the guy. Really good to connect. No, that this is not get your customer to like you. I know what you are trying to do here. You are trying with really little energy to make money out of me, which is not going to work because your product doesn't have impact. So everyone who thinks about the marketing strategy, I'm going to send a lot of emails to people I don't know with a direct offer of my product, just stop. Because you are burning your name. This is not get your customer to like you. This is getting your customer to not like you. Because I know that you didn't want to spend any money on me and just mass mailing and hope that someone pops out. That's like going in the disco like 20 years ago and asking, you know. And they all say no. Say, it was a bad night. Everyone said no. No, you didn't build up a relationship. The question was way too early. Everyone understands that in human in the human connection. Almost nobody understands that in sales. So we have too few real salespeople in tech. You have a lot of salespeople in commodities because they can't talk about the product because they have to understand. They go drinking, they go eating, they go coffee drinking, they build up a relationship. And then at one point, and that's how I sell my whole life, at one point, you wait until the customer tells you, "Hey, Thomas, with your Smoxy thing, what about, is that nothing for us?" And you say, yeah, of course, maybe we can do that. Yeah, that's you wait. This is the ultimate game. You wait until the customer comes to you, but you build up the relationship. Like that. You wait until the customer comes to you. This is the ultimate game. The game between that is that at some point you maybe say, "Hey, what about us?" But that's in my opinion, that destroys the relationship a bit because, okay, so that's why you put all that energy in me because you're not my friend. So you will just want a business. So this is bad. You burn your name. This is bad. And I know why tech guys like this because this is tech. And this is not connecting to people. And if there's one thing that tech people like, is not connecting to people. Yes. And that's why tech and sales is bad. We have to get more salespeople into tech, real salespeople, knowing nothing about the product, just going drinking, telling Thomas, I have a customer for you. He wants to talk tech. And you say, thanks. So it's like a football team. You pass the ball and then pop, and someone makes the goal. So who do you think gets the deal? Isabella. Chloe, why? Who's opposites? Yeah. Okay, she builds up relationship. At the other night, and yes, but it's in your opinion, and that's what we come to because you don't like ego. That's why you sometimes comment on my 2 ego posts that you don't like it. I know that. Yes, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree. But if I would ask any one of you sales guys what you would do it like the guy, less asshole. You would say, I do this, and I do this, and we have this, and then we have servers, and then we have systems, and we have an AI chat tool. You do it, but you do it less asshole. Nobody pitches like saying, hey, you started with a dream, right? Once. And maybe you're stuck. Maybe you want to buy your children a better future, right? I'm the guy that helps you. That's selling feelings, and not, oh, we have an AI chat tool and we have an SAP connector, and then you can save a lot of money. A lot of people, the most people pitch like the guy. They say, we do this, and then we do this, and then it's about me. That pitch is about me. The pitch of the lady was all about the guy, all about the guy, all about the guy. This is reverse psychology. It's never about you. Nobody cares about your product. I can tell you even a pitch. If you would say, we can do your cost savings like 50%, and you would say, and we do it like this and this and this. We do it with SEO or something like that. This guy said, wow, okay, great. What do you think that guy heard? The SEO or the 50%? Okay, you care about SEO because you think SEO is important because you once made the decision for SEO. Now, I can tell you, if you say, oh, did I say SEO? I mean with chatbots. Sorry. The guy would say, but it's still the 50%, right? Nobody cares about your product. There's only one guy who cares about your product. Who do you think that is? That's yourself. And I don't buy because you like anything. I buy because I like me, not I like you. So the next video.
This pen.
Okay, no problem. So am I right in assuming that you are in the market for a pen? Is that correct?
That is correct.
And how often would you use a pen nowadays?
Not that often, only really to sign documents.
Okay, so those documents that you sign, are they sales contracts,
Yes.
company checks, and employment contracts as well?
That's correct.
So they are significant moments that are indicative of the hard work that you've put in to get to that point. So therefore, you deserve to have a quality pen. Now, I have only been in this room, in this interview, for a few minutes, but I genuinely have the impression that you are somebody who, number one, is professional, number two, you set high standards, and you expect nothing but the best. Is that correct?
That's right.
Therefore, you need to have this pen. Now, this pen costs $70.
Wow, that's a very expensive pen. This one here only cost me $1.
But that pen you're holding up right now is not indicative of who you are as a person. Therefore, I want you to have this pen for the next 30 days free of charge, and I want you to try it. And every time you sign a check, every time you sign an important sales contract, and every time you sign an employment contract, that is a symbol, a moment of all the hard work you have put in to get to that point. So it is representative of the person you are, which is successful. Do we have a deal?
We have a deal.
This is how you sell a pen. He didn't talk about the product. I could ask any one of you, and you would start by telling me what you do. I don't care what you do. I care about me. So sales is never about you. It's always about the customer. It's always about, and he just said, you are not a guy that signs important documents with a €1 pen. You are not the €1 guy. That's why we buy so much stupid stuff, which costs a lot more because we feel good. If you like luxury and design, you are probably going to, and you have money, you are probably going to buy Apple because you think you need Apple. Because HP, you say, I'm not the HP guy. Why? It's the same laptop. You just feel better because it's you. Because it's you. So there are 4 reasons why we trust or we like people. The first reason is sympathy. Who knows what sympathy is? What is sympathy? How do we create sympathy? By being alike. By being alike. The more I am you, the more you like me. Or the more I am like you want to be. So that's why we don't like people who are not like us. I mean, we have common ground, I know that. And we like each other, but not on the ego level. Now, myself, I like people who have a bit of an ego because I have a bit of an ego. Now, you don't like that at all because you don't have ego. So it's sympathy. So one thing to do if you want your customer to like you, is build up sympathy. And it's the human connection. It's having things in common. I have a whole list of that. I can share that with you afterwards. It's the age. I connected with so many people who said, yeah, I'm 49 and I'm 50. I say, oh, I'm 49, I'm 74. And they say, oh, yeah, I'm 73. And we're already brothers somehow. If he would say, no, I was born 2002, I would, okay, I have nothing in common with you. So then you have to dig deeper. So one thing is sympathy. So we have here, this is German, but this is how we look. If you look in Europe, if you see an Asian woman, how high is the probability that she has an Asian guy in Europe? It's high, right? Yeah. If you see an African guy in Europe, he probably has an African wife. We like ourselves and we like people that are like us. So in sales, and not only sales, and in marketing, we have to be like the client, not to be yourself. You have to be authentic, but you have to be like the client. This is sympathy. And the two biggest connectors are values and humor. That's why you have friends, you have nothing in common, but you look each other in the eye and you start laughing already. Because it makes you feel good. Values makes you feel good. The two biggest connectors. What do you think? These are doctors, by the way. What cars were doctors driving in the 60s, 70s, 80s? What car brand? Wow. Volvo. Think about that. Because what word was Volvo using? Save lives. And the doctor chose to study like a million years to save lives, right? That's why he thought a Volvo was the better car. Because they just use words. The Volvo wasn't safer than a Mercedes. Mercedes chose to communicate with other words, which other people liked. It's just using words, being like the customer. How long will it take for all Volvo safety features become law? And doctors thought like, wow, this is a great car for me, just because they wrote that. Who sells more shoe to women, Adidas or Nike? What do you think? Most people say Nike because Nike does a lot of advertising with women. Adidas does more advertising with men. That's why women think, oh, Nike is the better shoe because they see more women that are like them. Now, I found this here in Ho Chi Minh. This is a restaurant, Iberico. What do you think? Who goes there? Spanish people. Yeah, it's a Spanish flag. That's like a smart Vietnamese guy said, I'm going to target the Spanish people. How? With the Spanish flag. So it's never about you. It's about the customer. Second thing, who goes to New York Corner? People who like New York. Last thing, every German thinks like, oh, this is like somewhere you think like, what is this? Like a Korean guy is not going to say like, oh yeah, that's me. So this is smart. This is using words. This is a website of a client of mine. We are working on that. So if we now know that we have to use the words and the pictures of the client to get the client, who is drawn by this website? What industry is drawn by this website? What buyer is drawn by this website and thinks, wow, that's completely me. Wow. Who? Just like the Spanish flag we saw and the Nike. Who? Hey, nobody. Nobody. There's no one on this planet that says, oh yeah, I'm a woman on the couch and so what do you think this website should look like if you target the fashion companies? How should it look like? What should be there? Orange. Fashion? Fashion. So they identify with an office, fashion people. It's in my word. It's in my word. Because if you have this, people at Marco Polo or at Fendi, they will say, okay, this looks like an interesting software because they have a picture like me. Fashion people care about fashion. Motorsport people care about motorsport. Rockers, they care about rock. Let's say DIY. Let's say you're in the DIY industry and you are DIY, you build hammers or saws, whatever. What should the website look like? Yeah, something like this. Because the guy will say, that's me. It's reversed. It's never about you. It's never showing your product. It's always about the client. People change suppliers easy, but not relationships. And I will show you something else. Oh, sorry. This is, this was the website. So this is sympathy. So if you build sympathy with client, you are alike. That's why when they start to like you. So second thing is competence. Competence is pretty, it's this. Know your market, know your product, know your customer, know how to sell. Know how to sell. I want to show you something. When do I look smarter? Smarter. Now or now? When would you pay me more per hour? Now or now? Now. And this is, everyone says now, this is 10 euro. And you would pay me 50 euro an hour more. It's just glasses, right? Because you think. I will do another test. Thomas, maybe with you. So what's the color of this? White. So what's the color of the wall? Okay. What's the color of your logo? Oh, no. White. What does a cow drink? Water. That's good. No. You knew that? You knew that?
Oh, I may say it.
Yeah. I know. It's the oldest trick in sales.
I was thinking that.
You were thinking milk. You were thinking milk. If you ask the question, white, what does a cow drink? 99% of the people, you thought, I have to think, I'm not going to say milk. 99% of the people think milk. This is knowing how to sell. This is knowing how to sell. If you think, oh, I want to be myself and I want to sell a lot, you have to be authentic. But if you're not like the client, he's going not to like you as much if you are like the client. So it's all about influencing. People go to customers, customers go to expert. You go to customers, but the customer goes to an expert. This is competence. Then relevance. Relevance is the third. So we have sympathy, competence, relevance. Relevance is being important. It's the big desire element. It's people who are thought leaders, experts, whatever. You want to work with them. How can you build that up for free in 6 months, you think? How? For free in 6 months. How can you build up a certain relevance in your industry in 6 months for free? How? Say it's the LinkedIn. You know, I was an entrepreneur in Germany doing stuff nobody knew. Now I am the sales guy because I posted 3 times a week about sales for 12 months. And now people think I can do better sales than 6 months ago. It's not better. It's people think that because I build up relevance. And attention is the ultimate asset here. Attention, being there. And then the fourth reason is reference. This is the easiest sell. It's what other people say, go to him, go to Yevgeny, go to him, go to her. That's the easiest sell. But you only have that when you have sympathy, competence, and relevance. When you build up this, people will come to you. We talked about that, Mutast. You have to do these 3 things. And then people also in Saudi Arabia say, yeah, you have to talk to Mutast because he's the guy. People will come to you. It's the easiest sell. You get the highest money. So rule number 1 is get your customer to like you. Rule number 2 is it's never about the price. Everyone who thinks it's about the price, you're just a lousy sales guy. You just don't understand people enough. I can show you some examples. Or it's the lack of budget. If I go with 20K to a Mercedes garage, he says, this is no deal. This has nothing to do with price. It's a budget thing. This is a BMW, costs 100,000 euro. People are happy, right? It's a reward. Yeah, 100,000 euro for an online shop. It's like, woo, it's the same money. It's the same money. So it's never about the money, right? Then you have this stuff. It's 3,000 euro for a bag. People are super happy. Then 3,000 euro for an interface. We all know that the customer says, wow, there's a lot of money for an interface. So it has nothing to do with money. He just spent 3K on a purse, and now your 3K is a lot of money. Why? Because he has no security that the trade is a good trade. So you offered him too low security, and you will cost everyone who doesn't sell it feelings. You're a cost, and then you get the price thing. So it's never about the price. Why do we go to McDonald's? What's the real reason we go to McDonald's?
There's biscuit.
Sorry?
En mij de.
Ja, het is lekker. Maar
I hope he.
but what's the reason we go to McDonald's with our kids? in a foreign city.
No, technically, you know what.
You know what you get? That's the model of McDonald's. You can go anywhere around the planet and you know what you get. We like security so much. We like security. That's why you're standing in front of a restaurant. You think, no, fuck it, let's go to McDonald's. Because you know what you get. So you're trading good food for bad food because you know what you get. This is a toilet paper in Germany. It's 4 layers. It says 4 layers. Why do you think it says 4 layers? What does that communicate? It's security, right? I was in Switzerland. They say, oh, you still have 4 layers. We have 5 layers. Really? Really? Because they like more security in Switzerland. SAP. Now let's say SAP quotes with the biggest company in Vietnam, $500 million for an SAP. And then a small company from Vietnam says, I can do the same for $100 million. Who gets the deal? SAP. It's security. And then it's not about the money. So everyone who says, the customer said I'm too expensive, you're too lousy sales guy to understand that you offered him 2 less securities. And this is IBM in the 70s. No one got ever fired. This is offering someone security. Security. Why do movies have trailers? You want to check if you like it. And let's talk about price. Everyone who has Amazon Prime, it's sometimes €2.99 or $2.99 for a movie that you have to hire. And sometimes you're insecure. You think, I don't know, €2.99. And then you say to your wife, let's go eating. And you spend €200 on eating. So it's never about the price. It's only because you're a lousy sales guy, don't understand that you have to offer securities. Security. And I say lousy because sales is an art. It's not an art of conning people, of getting the money out of people, but it's offering securities when you know you have the best product. Right? So it's never about price, it's only about feeling. Now, rule number 3, need of security. We talked about security. Do you think that everyone on this planet has the same level of security need? No? Okay. Who do you think is more, who needs more, when do we need more security? When it's crisis, like now in Europe, or when we are on the upswing? Upswing or crisis? Crisis. Did anybody change his security needs towards the customer in the last 3 years? If you didn't do, and you're selling less, I know why. Because you knew this, but you didn't know the technique behind it. So, if you got away with one use case like 5 years ago, it's not going to work anymore. You need 10 use cases. So, who do you think has more need of security? Germans, Americans, French, Dutch, or Vietnamese? The Americans, they are like, okay, let's do it. Germans are like, no, I need to know this, and if you cannot this, and Germans, it's Germans. So, who's your customer? Young or old? Who needs more security when buying? Old. Old people need more security. My dad, he doesn't drive more than 90 kilometers, and if I ask him to bring me to the airport, he wants to go 5 hours ahead because, something could happen, and when you're young, you're there on boarding time. You need more security. So who's your customer? Is he like 50, 40, 60? Adapt your game. I will skip this. What's the price of startup? Who needs more security? Large startup, exactly. If you have a large enterprise, so if you have like terms and conditions, one sheet at a startup, you will say this is great. One sheet at a large enterprise, what will the guy say? He will say, you make another font. You make it a font 12 because I can't go to my boss with one sheet of terms and conditions, right? He needs more security. Or government. Government even more. Man or woman? Woman. So if you have use cases, and if you have securities, and if you have a summary of your discovery, with women, the summary should be longer. They need more security. You have to understand, if you have one way of selling and you don't sell so much, I know, because you don't adapt your game. Entrepreneur or manager? Who needs more security buying? Manager. Entrepreneur says, it's on me, let's do it. I will skip this. So what does that mean? This is classification of your. So this is in the discovery. You look at your client. He's 28. He's a crazy guy. He has an expensive watch. He's like pap 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 pap. You are not going to say yes. We are going into the. He's like I'm gone. If you have a large enterprise guy, always start yourself proactive, saying, "Hey, should we have an NDA?" And he's like, "Okay, wow, you're a small company. Offer me an NDA. This sounds good." Normally we ask the questions, but if you come up, he thinks, wow, this is offering security. So would you like to look at the processes first? And he says, yes, I'd like to. Sure. So if you do the fast selling with big companies, it's not going to work. If you do the slow selling with entrepreneurs, it's not going to work. So adapt. This is a trick. This is like 70, 80% conversion rate. And everything communicates. This is something that I learned from Rich, which is not here, I think. Everything communicates. And Rich told me that at Coca-Cola, they know that everything communicates. And he says at Coca-Cola, it's like this. They say, you know, a truck that leaves in the morning that is filthy, it communicates. The truck driver is grumpy. You know, he pulls over and you are driving behind the truck. It communicates something. Even a glass bottle on the ground at Coca-Cola, say, that's bad for us. Everything communicates. It's about your background, how your hair is, how your voice is, how your emails are. Everything communicates. And I have this sheet. I can share that with you afterwards. It's basically distributed in the 8 P's, in the marketing mix piece. If you do this, if you do the check in your company on all, these are a couple of hundreds securities. If you do this check in your company, you will be the company that they're going to buy from because you offer all the securities for exactly the guy. So does anybody know Maslow? Yes, so what we see here, if we have a roof over our head, it's security and belonging. Security and belonging. So then we have this, we skip this. These are some book references. This I want to show you. So it's how we receive communication. It's 55% with the eyes. So if I would even more like walk like this, like even more confident, you know, and I tell bullshit, you're like, wow, it's 55%. That's why Donald Trump won. Because he's there, you know, and you think, wow, this is a mountain of a guy. And he has a sort of a great voice. And then, I didn't even know what he was saying. We don't care what people say. We believe what we see and what we hear. So this is understanding people. Understanding sales is understanding people. If you're in sales, you're a psychologist. Your job is to understand people. And if it's 55% visual, you know how you have to look and how you have to speak. And your content is not so important anymore. This is the model. So understanding sales is understanding people. Be the best at what you do. Sorry, rule number 4. Be the best at what you do. I'm going to show you something. The biggest brands in the world. Always be number 1. Always be number 1. Don't say I'm good at anything or we do anything. We don't care. Because, and this is, it feels good to go with the winner. If somebody says, I'm the number 1 in the business, you're going to believe in. You have to be. You don't have to lie, but be. But this is what I saw on the toilet, and this is for the German guys. This is number 1 if you have diarrhea. So I'm not going to buy the number 2 on diarrhea. I'm going to buy the number 1 on diarrhea. So big companies communicate like this. And if you see this here, I just want to show you something about using words and we people being stupid buying it. Stronger than diamonds. And all the G-class people, they think, wow, this is really good because I like diamonds, and then it's even stronger than diamonds. Which is in fact not true because nothing is stronger than diamonds. But people who like a G-class, they think that the car is it's stronger than diamonds. It's just using words, but they have to be authentic. Okay, so it's being the best. So you have to think about where are you the best? And then communicate it. So rule number 4 is being the best. Rule number 5, follow up, but be creative. I want to show you something here. See the big problem? When we follow up 3 times, 99% of salespeople think, this is enough. I'm going to stop. He probably doesn't care. But the sales is not made on the first contact, not on the second, and not on the third. We also know that. This is being lousy at sales. So, and nowadays, in sales, in Germany, it's 21 contact moments before someone buys in B2B. 21 contact moments. So you have to push on. But being creative, you can't do it like this. What I get like every day, what we get, it's like the 3rd and the 5th and the 7th, and people keep on pushing on LinkedIn. It's 10th and the 12th, and they think, okay, I'm going to stay on this channel. Be creative. Do stuff with people. Invite them to dinners, invite them to drinking coffee, invite them to influencer meetings. There are some tricks. But it's not about pushing in one channel or sending him emails. Maybe you didn't read my email, Henning. Yes, I read your email, but I'm not going to respond. Oh, can I ask you one more time? No, you can't ask me one more time. Still on the same channel. So it's be creative. Rule number 6, first give, then get. This is an important one. What can you give? So in tech, the times are over where you can say, I have a great product, I have impact, you give me money, I give you a product. People are looking more for security than they did 10, 15 years ago. Much more. So go to workshop, give them free trials, just like with the pen. I talk to a lot of companies who say, I can't drive there 5 hours and then have a workshop of 3 people. Do you know what that costs? And I say, you won't get the deal if you don't give him security. Yeah, I have an online meeting. Yeah, I know how that is going to work. Because your competitor, he cares more about the customer. He's getting the deal. You're now in the giving deal. Give, and then you get. A lot of people forget that. And in the tech industry, since we don't know selling so good, it's about, but I have this great product. Yeah, your competitor does as well, or he maybe says he has, but he goes to the client. He makes the effort. It's all about giving securities. Rule number 7, in sales, process is everything. And I want to show you a model which is a common model in tech. And this is the bow tie customer journey. And this is how sales now has been done for the last 10 years. So first you have awareness with white papers or whatever. Then you start educating your customer with a discovery or whatever, or maybe also with some content. Then the customer is going to select if you are going to be the guy. And then you have the mutual commit. So and what Jaco van der Kooi, the guy that invented this, says, and this is smart, recurring revenue is the result of recurring impact. So if you can sell your customer, that's why it's going this way. If you can sell your customer here, that your product has recurring impact, then he's going to buy. Now this model worked for a long time. But people don't buy like this not so much anymore because they don't know what the impact is. And the impact of tech is becoming lower and lower and lower. We talked about high impact for a long time. High impact was 10x. I pay you 1,000, I get back 10,000. I pay you 100K, I get back 1 million. Tell me what product still can deliver a 10x. Tell me. Online shops used to be 10x. Tell me a product that can deliver 2x. Tell me one product where I put 1,000 in, I get 2,000 back. Maybe AI. But there's so much AI now that people don't believe that your AI is going to deliver a 2x. That's why selling on impact is hard. Yeah, we have a great product and you can save costs, and you're like, yeah, how much cost is it? Yeah, I don't know as well, and we have some use cases. There are almost no products in tech anymore that can deliver 2x, and we're talking about 2x. Most products are like, we can do 25% uplift or 10% uplift. That's 1.2x. That's why selling on impact is hard. Now, this is my model. This is a relational sales model. People who know me, I talk a lot about this. I will quickly explain. So it starts, for me, it starts here. I select clients that I want to work with. It's not the other way around. I don't go and spread like flyers all over the place and I hope that someone likes me and buys from me. I select clients. I have a list of 500 clients, you are among that by the way, 500 clients that I want to have. And now I start grooming them. So I make the selection on the ICP, which is much based on sympathy. That's why I have to work with you on the sympathy, Thomas. It's much based on sympathy. Is the guy the same age? Is it the same industry? Maybe he was on the same university. Maybe he also has a dog or whatever. It's based on sympathy because sympathy is really quick sell. So then I start up to build a relationship which goes from cold to warm to hot, right? He's a stranger and then he's a friend. You know, you meet a guy, you drink a beer, second beer, you go for a coffee, and then he's a friend. And at one point, you are going to talk business. Now, the best way, what I told you, is that the client comes to you and says, hey, let's talk about this product of yours. That's how I do sales now. People come to me and they say, Henning, either they saw me on LinkedIn, so I have a relevance, either they saw me speaking and they thought, wow, that guy really knows what he's talking about, competence, or they think I'm sympathetic. Lars, for instance, Lars Jankowski, he knows nothing about tech. He knows everything about whiskey. All his best clients come from bars, drinking with people, only sympathy game. This is this game from a stranger to a friend. Talk about business. And the thing that you saw here, the mutual commit is deal closed. One. It's the one. In this model, people like me already. They want to do business with me. The mutual connect is before closed one. Because if a client tells me I want to do business with you, I already sold the deal. We only have to do the negotiation. This is why relational sales is working much better than selling on impact, which we did like for 15 years, which worked. We don't have so much impact anymore. That's why nobody buys anymore. But if you build up a relationship, from building a relationship, trust established, here you start to have a proposal. So then he said, okay, I have your proposal. But the hotter you start in to talk about business, the faster you get commit. So this is like this, and the yellow is like this. So here you build up with touch points. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. And not like, yeah, I'm going to call the guy, and then 6 months later I'm going to call the guy, and then maybe I invite the guy, I don't know the guy really. Then I know that you don't get the deal. So it's the trust that gives you recurring revenue. So you have an earlier commit, and you have recurring revenue is the result of relational trust. I sold millions on upselling just because I was there after the deal, and I delivered. So this is a sales process. Now, out of this framework, I have a question for you. So you have lead generation and closing, right? There are 3 phases in sales. You have lead gen, like an online shop. You need people who come in your online shop. You have like the conversion rate. He's in the online shop and he has to buy. And then it's about customer success. And it's like the retention in the online world. What do you think is what do you think is the invest from lead generation to get a client? It's 90% in B2B. 90% of the companies, they spend 90% of all their money here. They spend 10% here. I'm going to ask you again, where do you think the juice is? Where is the money? Do you think the most money is made here? Or do you think the most money in any deal with the customers here? It's like this. And why do we spend so much money here? And it's like marrying someone and then doing all the shit we do to get the deal. And then when we got, now I don't care about you anymore. I'm off to the next client. This is stupid. This is stupid. That's why we need to have relational sales and not the impact sales. It's about human beings and not about your product. So this is the game changer for you. If you prioritize the relationship, you will get more than the deal. You don't chase the deal. And you have to switch from transactional sales, like getting deals. We don't chase deals. We build relationships.
The very best salespeople are the ones who form the very best relationships with their customers. They make it clear to their customers that they like them and they care about them, and they ask them questions. At the Harvard Business School, they came to this conclusion a few years ago that in the 21st century, all selling would be relationship selling. All success in business will be based on relationships. Your very best customers, I can tell you, are the people that you like and the ones who like you. 85% of your recommendations and referrals will come from people who like you and people who feel good about you. So focus on the relationship and the sale will take care of itself. If you aim at the sale or you think too much about the sale, what will happen is you will have neither the relationship nor the sale.
Thank you very much.